Now, this is an aspect of the Tower of Babel that I didn't hit on my video yesterday, that I meant to. And because my videos are not scripted, sometimes I leave information out. And that is the fact that the Tower of Babel also indicates a story about an oppressive God. Many people, when they teach this story, what they teach about is the fact that it's focused on man's ambition, man's pridefulness, and that is why this God confused the language, because man was prideful. But it also suggests that he did not like the idea of man being able to communicate with one another, because as it says in that book, that if man is able to work together, as long as man can work together, there is absolutely nothing that man cannot achieve. And this is something that someone would say if they are trying to oppress someone. This is not something that someone would say in order to build up your people. If this God truly was a good God, then what his desires would be for man to all get along, to not murder each other, to not war against each other, to not have differences that causes them to separate themselves. But out of fear of man being able to achieve great things, this deity decides that he's going to confuse the languages so that man would then create separation. This is truly demonstrating the mechanisms of man creating a Bible, creating a God, trying to explain why there are so many languages in the world, and not actually having the social education or the social thought process to realize that man has developed in other areas to which they develop different cultures, and then they would develop different languages, and so there will be differences in the different tribes of man throughout the world. So instead, let's concoct a story about a deity that decided it wanted to confuse the languages. We have similar stories where different deities either spray something in the air or they spray something in the waters to cause man to not be able to work together, to not understand the height of his divinity, and cause disruptions in man's society. Only the oppressor has the desire to keep the people separated, to keep the people from achieving their greatest heights. Only an oppressive regime would desire that. And we can see from the Sumerian story that that was the goal of Enlil, was to create and have a submissive slave people that he could dominate and force those people to be what he desired them to be, which is slaves. So you're right, my guy, Leroy. Leroy got the whole golden glow. Who's the master? That this is the purpose. That is another aspect of the Tower of Babel story that I omitted from the first video. That this is just a slave god. No more, no less. Just a slave god. So you have a great day. And remember, always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.